Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again today. I love doing these, by the way, just in case you were wondering, because I believe that I just so want to get across the idea that Jesus Christ's life is the life of the church. And of course, I've written this book called The Vine and the Church: Seven Stewardships of Revival. And you know what? I just believe that a church can live in revival because Christ is our revival. And so I like to say revival is a person. Something fun happened to me the other day. I walked into Faith Baptist Bible College in Ankeny, Iowa, and this man came up to me who I had met before at another conference, and he said to me, "Oh, I really like your videos." He said, "I'm just waiting on the next one." And that was such an encouragement. And so I want to give a shout out to Mike for saying those words to me. And so here's the next one coming your way. And so thanks, Mike, for the encouragement. Really appreciate it. You know, I love these seven stewardships. I do. Remember, we talked about the stewardship of grace, where the life of Christ shows up in all kinds of different ways. And then we talked about the stewardship of faith, because we have to embrace those things if they're going to work for us. And when we embrace those, they turn into ministry opportunities. I've just seen it all the time. Churches that can't even figure out what to do next. They see what God's doing, they join Him, boom, things begin to happen. And then, but we have to continue with a worship, because it's real easy to become the center of things. And so then it's all about your kingdom instead of His kingdom. And so it's a first love relationship. And it's scary to me when I think about the good church that Ephesus was in Revelation 2, that was just about ready for Jesus to wipe it out. Jesus said, "You either got to repent and return, or I'm going to come and snuff out your candle." Wow. And you've heard me say, we can win against the devil. We can't win against Jesus, because if He's against us, we're toast. And so then after that, worship comes warfare. There's going to be warfare. It's just going to happen. And as long as we live in this fallen world, and for us then to think, well, nothing's ever going to happen at our church, we actually seen a lot of churches be really discouraged because they had a really good move of God, and then, wow, we had some trouble, and they weren't expecting it, and it made them sad. So there is warfare. And then we talked about discipleship. Last couple times we talked about discipleship, and we'll go back there again. And I just love to talk about discipleship because I like to think about us working on multiplying, and I like to leave the addition to God, because the Lord added, daily to the church such as should be saved. And He's still doing that around the world. Today I want to talk about our discipleship. As we start with discipleship, I personally believe that God has ordained for us to start our discipleship and give people opportunity to serve within the body. When I was on the farm, my dad, I was in a safe place with him as far as learning how to do stuff. And so I learned, whether it was baling hay or shoveling corn or whatever it was, I had my dad's coaching, and it was safe right there on the farm in order to do that. So that's kind of the way it is with church ministry and with the friends that we know and love, and we feel safe. So with all that said, I want to tell you a story about me. And that is, when I was a kid growing up on the farm, I remember how we were baling hay. My dad, who was young at the time, and he had big old Popeye arms. His name was Gordon. He put his arm out the window of the truck and pointed right at me, and he said, "Joe, I want you to pick up absolutely as many bales as any hired man that I have." Okay? I got that. And I so respected him. And so I did. I tried to anyway, even though I was younger. And then I would hear conversations in the family about our pastor being lazy. He's lazy. And I'd hear, these hardworking farmers talk about our pastor being lazy. So I got into the ministry and I didn't want to be lazy. And so I worked really, really hard because I wasn't taught the whole idea of equipping the saints to do the work of the ministry. I want to read you this verse. Ephesians 4:11. And he himself gave some to be apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the equipping of the saints for the work of the ministry. Pastor, it's okay for you not to do all the work, but to equip the saints to do the work. You're not lazy if you don't do all the work. In fact, I really got the impression sometimes from my mentors years ago that it all would rise and fall on how hard I worked. I do believe in being diligent. I'm diligent today. But I know that in the process, I can't do it all. And so I need to be equipping those in my presence. So that's part of stewarding the life of Christ, because we pass on the truth and we pass on the understanding of his life and power amongst us as we do and equip the saints to do the work of the ministry. Well, that's enough for today. Just want to pass that on to you. And so may the Lord bless you as you, if you're a pastor or if you're a part of a local church, that you work together to equip the saints to do the work. Next time, I'm going to tell you what happens when we do that. Thanks for checking in.